fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford lashed out at Floyd Mayweather after sparring footage was leaked. He said he didn't appreciate Floyd's actions and expected more respect from someone who claimed to be cool with him. Crawford was upset that private training moments were made public and stressed that a move like this shouldn't come from a fellow champion.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, you know, and how he was acting, being that, you know, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, you know, we was all cool at one point in time. And, you know, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, you know, signed, you know, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, you know what I mean, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's comment that Crawford should retire shows how divided the boxing world is about his future. On one side, Hearn praises Crawford's legacy. He's dominated multiple divisions, beaten elite fighters, and secured his place among the all-time greats. Retiring now would protect that legacy forever, just like some legendary champions did. On the other side, Hearn knows the financial side of boxing. With Saudi money and big crossover events, Crawford could still make record-breaking paydays, even in non-legacy fights. For Hearn, the balance between money and legacy is clear, and he understands it better than most promoters.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160, and that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5? 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, he was obviously very close to him, seemed to say that's, yeah, so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Crawford should retire while he's on top. He feels Crawford has already proven his greatness by becoming a pound-for-pound king, winning titles in different weight classes, and beating the best of his era. Schofield isn't doubting Crawford's skills, but warns that continuing could bring unnecessary risks. If Crawford fights again, Schofield says it should only be against new contenders like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin. This reflects a generational shift. Young fighters want to test if Crawford can handle their intensity. Still, Schofield shows respect, saying Crawford has nothing left to prove and his legacy is already safe if he walks away now.
So, I feel like Crawford, you know, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Jerron. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Valid.
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
This debate continues to heat up among fans. Many love imagining a prime Mayweather versus a prime Crawford matchup since both mastered the sport in their eras. Floyd was a defensive genius with unmatched ring IQ, while Crawford is known for his adaptability and killer finishing ability. But in reality, Mayweather is past his prime, without the speed or stamina he once had. A fight today would be more spectacle than real competition. That's why fans admit the dream matchup will likely remain just that, a dream.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts often remind fans that stats and records don't always show who's truly greater in a head-to-head fight. Floyd's 50-0 record and ability to stay undefeated across generations is rare. Crawford, however, became undisputed in multiple divisions, something Floyd never did. The comparison is tough because they fought in different eras. Floyd's career was filled with big global names and massive pay-per-view sales, while Crawford's success comes from clear, dominant wins. Analysts argue that being more decorated on paper doesn't always mean being the better fighter in the ring. It depends on styles, timing, and context.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. It's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's opinion matters because he's fought Mayweather and knows the level required to compete at the top. He calls Crawford the king of today's era, reminding fans that every generation has its standout. Judah even noted that Canelo Alvarez once suggested Crawford might be better than Floyd, sparking endless debates. For Judah, Crawford's ability to dominate across weight classes shows his complete skill set. Unlike many fighters, Crawford has carried his timing, power, and calmness into every division. Judah's words feel like a symbolic passing of the torch, recognizing Floyd as the king of his time, but Crawford as the ruler now.
The punch can knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds, yeah, about 3 rounds. How did you score? You just score about, sound about fair?
What's that?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 in a possible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion,
Who?
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Who?
Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. He's number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to see a rematch?
Not a rematch. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
What's up?
My boy's a dog.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Thank you.
I was watching Real City. That's right.